Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Primetime Sports Talk YouTube channel. I am Mason Thompson. You know me from the Packers podcast as well as the Draft podcast. We are doing kind of a special kind of interview here with Northern Illinois' offensive lineman JJ Lippe. So, if you want to introduce yourself, kind of explain how you got to Northern Illinois and what your kind of role is at Northern Illinois.
Yeah, so I'm JJ Lippe. I'm currently a redshirt freshman at Northern Illinois. I kind of got to Northern Illinois because the last 2 weeks of recruiting, they reached out to me because Coach Hammock was new and they had new O-line coach, Coach Agpulsa. They reached out, offered me a scholarship, and it was funny because it was the day I was coming back from Ball State, and they essentially offered me, told me they wanted me to come out, and so I did. And then the day after I came back from Ball State, I found out that the O-line coach was actually leaving Ball State, and so then it was between Northern Illinois and Fordham, and I just decided Northern Illinois because it was closer to home and it was a D1 football program coming off of MAC championship. So I was like, I just want to go win.
So, obviously, in your background there, we have some Packers. I don't know what that is. There's some Packer gear behind you. So, obviously, you're a Packer fan. Um, you're originally from Wisconsin. So the Packers have kind of been in some news recently. We re-signed Aaron Jones, and then this morning we re-signed Kevin King. If you kind of want to give your opinions on those re-signings and the fact that we haven't really signed anyone else from any other teams, which a lot of people are angry about, but kind of give yourself some talk about your favorite NFL team, the Green Bay Packers, a little bit here.
I'm pretty impressed that we were able to get Aaron Jones back. I was actually very happy about it. And, if that's the only thing that we really do, I'm fine with it because he is one of our game changers that we did need back. I was getting really concerned. I was even texting you about this, how I really wanted him or Jamal Williams back even. So I'm very happy with that. Kevin King signing this morning kind of made my day a little bad. I don't know how crazy I am about it. I thought maybe we could get a veteran corner, maybe like Richard Sherman, maybe, or someone or like Malcolm Butler, maybe like a 1 year prove it kind of deal with one of those veterans. So, but other than that, I'm pretty happy. It sucks seeing Lindsley go, but I knew we weren't going to
Yeah.
afford. But we've done a good job drafting a lineman. So
So you're also friends with like two of the people that I'm close with from my high school, Andrew and Nathan. If you kind of want to give yourself some background on those two, I know I'll probably be talking to Andrew a little bit here sooner, which I probably already should have done. But I know Andrew was. I know a lot of guys that I like to talk to from the site like to make fun of me for how I reacted to the Packers draft last year, but I think Andrew was more upset about it than I was. Like we went down to the baseball field the day after the first round. He just looked at me and said, "Don't talk about Jordan Love while we're here." So if you kind of want to give a little shout out, some opinions about those two.
oh man, those two are characters. Well, Andrew's my cousin, obviously, and just growing up with him, he always gets butthurt about things, and when he gets mad about something, man, he just does not want to talk the next day. And I just remember pretty vividly, like Nathan just texted in our group chat that we had. He was because he's a Vikings fan. He was just roasting us Packers, and I was pretty mad, but I got over it because I could see like the pick value in it. But Andrew just didn't want to hear it, so those two are just very funny.
So again, a little bit more with the Packer talk here. I'm the draft guy. You also messaged me after watching our draft podcast for the 7th round Packers mock. So you messaged me saying that Zaven Collins was a beast or an animal or something. So is there a guy that you want the Packers to draft in the first round? Is it Zaven Collins? Is it a cornerback or receiver?
I kind of want the Packers to draft Rondell Moore. I know he's injury prone, but um, you've seen a lot of guys from college be injury prone and then they go to the NFL and they're fine. So I really think that Rondell Moore could be a really good guy, but he also just really had a really good pro day
Yeah.
to do. So I don't know how realistically if he's going to drop into the Packers' hand at 29, is it?
Yeah, 29.
Yeah. So if that doesn't happen, I was also talking to one of my buddies. He's from Minnesota. He plays offensive line here. I think his last name is Bateman, the wide receiver from Minnesota.
Rashad Bateman.
Yeah, I heard a lot of good things about him. So I just kind of want a corner. If we could get one, that'd be great. I don't think, or not a corner, a wide receiver, excuse me. because we just got Kevin King today, so I don't think we really should waste a corner pick. But I mean, if we could get a linebacker too, I know we talked about that guy from Ole Miss, the Collins guy. Is that him?
He is from Tulane or Tulsa. Tulsa,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. I really liked his film, but I don't really know much about the linebackers in this draft. So, wide receiver or linebacker, that's all I care.
So obviously, this last year was kind of your first year playing in for Northern Illinois, and it was obviously not the greatest circumstances. So did you want to kind of go through like playing and practicing in a COVID-plagued season?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I've never had so many football cancellations before in my career, and we started off and we came back in June, and during June it was just workouts. We weren't even allowed on the turf at all, like in Husky Stadium. We were actually on like a little grass patch right outside of it. Um, it was very few guys. You had like four to a group. So God bless the strength coaches, their hearts because they were out there from sun up to sundown. But no, so then we get into that, and then they kept saying that we were going to have a season, we're going to have a season. So we kind of get into training camp, and we had a few practices there. Then we get shut down, and then they were debating whether or not we were having a season, and they said we weren't going to have a season, and then we opted out of the season. And so then we kind of, we're going back and forth, just lifting, whatever. And then I think it was like September maybe or August, somewhere around there. They said we're gonna have a season, so then we, just geared back up. I can't remember how many practices we had, but I mean, it just sucked just going from training camp. Like I felt like I was in training camp forever, and training camp's always the worst part of football season because it's just a grind. And it sucked. There was a lot of Zoom meetings and stuff, and then we finally got in person again, so it was awesome. And then we get into the season. Our first game at home against Buffalo, and then our next game against Central Michigan was at home too. It was really nice. We were able to have a crowd, like family only, but it was still like a couple thousand probably were there. So it was so nice to have the fans. And then we go to Ball State, and Ball State was actually pretty open at the time, and that was actually our biggest crowd. It was a couple thousand there too, but it was a lot more than what we were getting at NIU. And then Illinois and Michigan actually went into a like lockdown order or whatever they call it, and we actually were not allowed to have any fans at all. So for the last three games of the year, because we were at Illinois and Michigan twice, um, so it was definitely a different like energy towards the game. So it was definitely a lot crazier than that, because like the year before we were in Nebraska and Utah, so it's totally different feeling. And I think our team did pretty well with the energy aspect. Like we were able to create our own energy. Like we actually had our like this new thing called bring your own juice, and we actually wore the shirts out. And then like coaches were trying to find creative ways for us to like keep energized like on the sidelines, because if you're at those games, like you could just tell like sometimes you could hear a pencil drop in that stadium. It was so quiet. And then they tried doing crowd noises too, but that also didn't really work out that well. So I mean, all together, it was a good season. Didn't go the way we wanted to, but um, I think we did. I think we handled it pretty well.
So obviously you just said that the season didn't go that well for you guys. Do you kind of want to like go into some details about that at all?
Yeah, we are one of the youngest teams in college football last year. We had a lot of true freshmen, redshirt freshmen playing for us. I think at one point we had, I think it was 8 freshmen starting on our defense. So we've definitely gone through the younger side of things. Um, Other than that, I mean, we got some dogs. I mean, we're just really young, and we're just not mature and strong enough to, really make that extra effort for us to win. And this offseason we've really done a good job of getting all stronger, bigger, faster. So I expect us to come back out next year and win a lot of games. It just sucks because we were young and we were just trying to fight our way, and we fought pretty close in a lot of games. So
So wasn't the Ball State game probably your guys' closest game as well this year?
yeah, yeah, it was.
So they won a bowl game this year. So what does that kind of like say about like you guys are a young team and that was your closest game and you almost beat a team that won like one of the biggest bowl games in college football?
Yeah, honestly, that was probably probably like one of the hardest games that we've played, and same with Western Michigan because Western Michigan was close there to getting the state to the MAC championship, but you know they just those 2 games in alone were very big heartbreaks for our team because, with COVID and everything and us pushing every single day, grinding every day, you know, the way that we did things this year versus my first year here was we had a lot more reps because we're such a young team, so we had our growth to maturity was fast. So losing those games, like, really hurt, but it just goes to show that, like, these guys on our team, they won't quit, and we have a lot of our guys back this year, and, the fact that we were able to develop such a good trait of not quitting just goes to show that we're gonna be pretty good, coming up here, and, with us maturing in the weight room and everything, I think we're gonna be really solid.
So I saw on the Northern Illinois Instagram page for your team that you guys have already started kind of some practices and everything. So what are you guys doing to prepare right now for next season? And what are your goals overall for yourself and then for the team? Obviously, I guess that it's winning the conference championship, but your goals overall and what are those practices like right now?
So right now we're in spring ball. We just had our 3rd practice this morning. We have a practice pretty much every other day. Practice has been good. Getting a lot of reps. Everybody is, especially our center in front of me, Braden Patton. He's coming back for his COVID year that he was granted. So he should be back. He was 13 or second team all third or second team. I think it was third team all MAC this year. So he's gonna be back in the mix. My goals this spring ball is just keep improving. I was actually in quarantine for the last like about a month ago. I was in quarantine for about 2 3 weeks because there was like a thing going on with my roommate. So I kind of lost some training there, but other than that, my goals, I when I could show I could play, I'm a really good ball player, but my consistency just hasn't been there. So I'm really trying to focus on consistency this spring ball, and then kind of go for there and see if I could get some playing time.
So I know that you said that you primarily play center. Are you one of those players that can play like a guard as well or a tackle, which is what a lot of the guys in the NFL are trying to do right now? Like versatility is key. Do you think you could be one of those players?
I personally think I can. Being already 6'5.5", I'm already pretty much a taller center than the normal than a normal height of a center in college football or even in the NFL. So I definitely could play guard or even tackle. I've repped at guard too for offense, not so much at tackle. So I think I could be that versatile player, but it's just whether or not I get the reps there or whatnot.
Okay, so I know you mentioned like Western Michigan and then your first game against Buffalo. So they have two players going to the draft this year. They have Dwayne Eskridge, who's the receiver from Western Michigan, who's going to probably go on day 2 from what I've been hearing. I'm a big fan of him. And then Buffalo's running back, Jarrett Patterson. I know you didn't play against them because you were on the offensive line, but watching them, did you really see anything like that stood out to you? And then I also kind of want to mention like Jalen Moore, who's also an offensive lineman from Western Michigan. So did you like see what were you like noticing when you were watching those players?
Yeah, the wide receiver, what's his last name, Moore, or is that the tackle?
Moore is the tackle, and then Eskridge is the receiver.
Yeah, Eskridge. He actually scored a kickoff return or a punt return. I think it was a kickoff return against us, and man, that guy could fly. So I like, he's one of the fastest guys I've seen. He flew past our guys. I thought he was a really solid player. Jarrett Patterson, going into it, we knew he was going to be a good player. I personally think our defense did a great job at eliminating the big plays, but he did have one big play against us. But man, that guy is special. But you know, I give credit a lot to the offensive line just because I'm an offensive lineman, and Buffalo has probably one of the best offensive lines in the MAC last year. And Jarrett running behind those guys, I wasn't shocked that he was that kind of player. But um, I think that guy's going to be a really solid, player in the NFL. And then the tackle, I didn't really pay attention much to him against us, just because normally when we're playing, our defense is on, we're normally huddling up as an offense. and I was paying attention to that. So, but I've heard a lot of good things about him too, just from the combine and whatnot.
So on that note, like you say, you haven't really played that much, obviously, because you're one of the younger guys on the team. But if you have a player that you want to name, you can name them. But who was a player that you like going up against in any of the games you played, or some of the guys that were ahead of you that were mentioned?
Yeah, so Brandon and I are actually best friends. We're really close. And I was just talking to him every game. And the two guys that really stuck out to me was number 0, Eddie Wilson on Buffalo's defense. He was D tackle. He's a really solid player. He was just a junior this last year, so he's coming back for his senior year. And then I completely forgot this guy's name, but I know his number. Number 8 on Western Michigan. He's also a D tackle. He is a really good player. I've my the guy that's in front of me, Braden. He is a really good player, and man, he had some troubles against number 8. Number 8's a good solid player. Um, but yeah, those two I know for a fact those guys can play.
So I have to ask you one question here. Have you ever thought about moving to punt returner by chance?
I maybe. I lost some
So
money.
I want to bring up the video here. This is from the Northern Illinois Instagram. So obviously, is this offensive and defensive lineman trying to catch this punt return ball?
Yeah,
So were you one of the only ones to catch the ball, or were you the only one?
I was the only one to catch the
Okay, so it'll
ball.
be coming up here in a minute. So have you ever done that before?
No, I've actually never done that before, but I've played baseball my whole life, so I've always taken it as, that's the baseball coming at me. And um I don't know, like I got a good read on the ball and it came down into my arms, and I was the only guy that got it. So it was pretty good, but I knew I had a lot of confidence going into that.
So do you have any like newfound respect for those guys that kind of do that on a regular basis, those kick returners and those punt returners, with especially because that you had no one coming at you either. So
Yeah, I do, because I even say it all the time, even before that, like some of those guys catching those punt returns, like I just don't understand how they don't like freak out that someone's about to hit them, because you got those idiots in college football who hit them even though they fair caught the ball, and it's like, damn, how do you even catch those? So, yeah, definitely.
so did you want to like talk about any of your other coaches there at Northern Illinois at all before we kind of just wrap this up a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Hammock's got a really great culture building here at Northern Illinois. He came in here and he really, it's his way right now, and then it's really becoming a um, great culture because, like, the guys are really buying into what he's saying. The guys are trusting what he's putting forth, and then with Coach Agpalsa, those guys are pretty close. Coach Agpalsa is also a great guy. He's always there for you no matter what. He's a great teacher. I mean, he will get on your ass a couple times, but it just comes from love, and that's what's really great about this coaching staff is that they just really care about you as a person and as a player, and they just want the best for you. So there's really nothing like there's never backstabbings or any of that kind of stuff, which just coming into it, I've kind of heard about that kind of stuff before. Just it's college football. Like if you don't perform, you're whatever. But these coaches, they just really care about us. So it's been a great journey so far.
All right. So obviously, good luck to you this season and everything. Hope you guys can bring home that MAC championship. I know my buddy Jack, who also writes for the site, is a big MACtion fan, obviously. So obviously, one of my favorite conferences to watch just late at night on a Friday night. So again, thank you for the time here. Obviously, we'll link our original interview with you that from our original website in the description. So obviously, thank you for the time. You guys want to say anything else before you head out?
Go Huskies.
All right. Thank you guys. So we'll see you guys later. So thank you, JJ.